hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm doing something a little bit different. If it's good, then maybe I'll keep doing it. If it's bad, then this will be the only one. I'm Josiah Douglas. If this is your first time watching, I do biblical inspiration and motivation here on YouTube 5 days a week. If that's the kind of thing that you're into, you could hit subscribe, and if this video is good, this format, then I'll probably be doing more like this. So I don't know if all pastors do this or if it's just something that my pastor does, but every once in a while he'll go off on a rabbit trail, he'll start saying something super passionate, super excited about it, and then he'll say, that's not even on my notes, that one's for free. In this case, free means that he went off on a tangent, talked about something else completely and entirely, and then he went back to what he was supposed to be talking about in his notes. And so what I'm going to start doing, if this is any good, is a new thing that I like to call Freebie Friday. Cue the graphics. Okay, I haven't pre-made any graphics, so if there was graphics there just now, I literally made them as I was editing this. So normally what I do is I pick a verse as I'm reading through the Bible and I talk about that. If you've been watching my videos, you probably noticed that I'm going linearly through the Bible. I'm not jumping around. I'm literally just picking a verse from my regular daily Bible reading and talking about it. Freebie Friday is going to be something new that I'm going to do once a week, where basically I talk about something that isn't in my regular Bible reading. And so today we're going to talk about something super important, something you should be doing. And if you're not, you might be going to hell. I don't know. I probably can't say that. Today we're going to be talking about something super important, something you should be doing as a Christian, and that is tipping. Yeah, that's right. I said tipping, like tipping your server, tipping your barista, tipping, people who do a job for you, people who normally get tips. So I worked as a pizza delivery driver for several years. I worked at a pizza place for about 6.5 years. Some of those years I was delivering pizzas. Some of those years I was working in-house. And then a few years later, I went and worked at a different pizza place just as a delivery driver. And basically, when I was doing that, the majority of my money came from tipping. Servers at restaurants, baristas, gas station attendants, taxi drivers, Uber drivers, all these different people, they work in a place where they get paid normally, but a lot of their money comes from tips. One thing that happened to me several times as a pizza delivery driver is I'd go and I'd deliver somebody a pizza, and then they wouldn't tip. And then as I'm leaving, they would say, God bless. As a Christian, I would say, well, this person's a Christian, that's fine. And I don't hold anything against them. But I would think to myself that if this was one of my coworkers delivering this pizza, and they delivered this pizza and they didn't get tipped, and then this person said, God bless, basically indicating that they are a Christian, I would think to myself, what kind of taste for Christianity would that put into my coworker's mouth? You see, when you're a person who works for tips, when somebody doesn't tip you, it's kind of an insult. It's basically that person is, in your mind, they're kind of stealing from you because that's the money you rely on to be able to, pay your bills. And then if you're not a Christian, having a Christian not give you a tip, it's almost as if they're going out preaching love and preaching that Jesus will save them and all this stuff, but they don't even take care of you. Basically, they don't even do the normal basic thing that people should do. And that is kind of a big deal. So you might say, well, I do tip. Well, I just tip based on whether or not the service is good. And you know what? I can, completely see where you're coming from. The problem is the server who's serving you, in their mind, they're giving you good service, whether or not you think they are or not. What that comes down to is basically, no matter what, if they find out you're a Christian and you didn't tip them, you're spitting in their face. You could also be saying to yourself, no, I'm a great tipper. I tip 15%. Here's the deal with 15%. When you're a server and you get tipped 15%, that's good. Sometimes, depending on what you do, you get tipped 15%, and that's like amazing. There's some jobs that you don't ever get tipped 15%. But a lot of times, 15%, it's kind of just average, kind of just maybe a little above average. It's not that great. Jesus told this parable that always kind of never quite made sense to me. But then right at the end of it, he says, use mammon, which is a word for money, to gain friends here on earth. Basically, what Jesus was saying is that if you're a Christian, you have money, use that money to make people your friends and make them, want to be Christians too. So tipping is just one way to use the money that God has blessed you with to bring other people into the kingdom of God. I mean, you're not going to just give somebody some money and then they come to church and they fall in love with Jesus. But if you say anything about Jesus, or you're wearing a cross necklace, or you say God bless, or you do anything that in any way makes it known that you're a Christian and then you don't tip, you're putting a bad taste in that server's mouth, basically for all Christians. But if you are a Christian, you say something about God, you say God bless, you invite somebody to your church, you're wearing a cross necklace, and you leave a big tip, then that is a +1 in their book for Christians. So here's what I do, and here's what I think that you should do. If you go and you buy a coffee, leave a tip every time. If you go and you get an Uber from one place to another, leave a tip every time. If you go to a restaurant, leave a tip, leave a big tip. And that's not like 15%, that's not 20%, that's more like 40, 50%. When you leave a tip, leave an impression, because for all you know, that person's going to show up at your church next week and they're going to see you and be like, oh, that's that guy that only left a $2 tip on a $60 meal. And that's not the kind of impression that you want people to have of you. That's not the kind of impression that you want people to have of the church. That's not the kind of impression that you want people to have of God and Christianity in general. So do what Jesus would do and use money to gain friends here on earth. And that means tipping. Let me know what you think about tipping in the comments, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, whether you think there's more to it, whether you think that I'm an idiot, whatever it is that you think. Let me know about what you think about tipping here in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you think I'm a moron and you shouldn't be tipping the way I'm talking about, then hit the dislike button. I'll understand. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe. And if you haven't, go ahead and hit the bell. That way you get notifications every day when I come out with a new video like this. All right, guys, I will see you next week.